Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Roast.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our Day 9 edition of Big Brother 28 live feed spoilers. I think it is only right to start this video off with an apology to Ashley because yesterday on her update, I may have called her a flop. Now, is she still a flop when it comes to strategy on Big Brother? Perhaps. But in terms of entertainment, Ashley, I'm sorry. You have my heart when it comes to staying in the game this week.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely bringing entertainment. She's bringing messy feeds. This is what I'm here for. Yeah, I was feeling kind of the same way that she was a little bit of a flop. There wasn't really anything there, but I don't know what ignited today, but here we are.
Yeah, Ashley has done something today that may, and I'm not even trying to be dramatic here, maybe a little bit, but this could actually change the entire course of the season, what Ashley did today. And I think she's also a prime exhibit A as to why Big Brother just doesn't cast a bunch of game bots. I know every now and then there are those of us who like strategy, like we both like strategy, but at the same time, if every player is the same, the show ends up being boring. I can guarantee you nobody in this house is like Ashley, and I don't know how many players over the course of Big Brother history are like Ashley.
But before we get into it any further, be sure to hit that subscribe button and stick with us all season. We are here with daily live feed updates for you. So thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed.
Thank you so much. We very much appreciate that, just as we really appreciate everyone who is joining our YouTube memberships, because we are doing weekly exclusive Big Brother videos there. We posted one this past week about the HOH twist and how fundamentally unfair it is, like really on an unprecedented level. We also have a brand new exclusive coming to YouTube memberships on Friday. We don't want you guys to miss that, and we are so grateful to everybody who has joined.
We are going to continue to bring you weekly videos on our memberships all summer long, all about Big Brother. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys very, very much. And we hope that you have, I don't know, a cup of hot chocolate. I know that's weird to say because it's really hot out here in Temecula right now.
Yo, it's so hot here today. My AC cannot keep up.
Yeah, but you still need a warm, cozy blanket. You got to settle in for the story that Jess and I are about to tell you, because it is a long, winding, and very entertaining road.
Yep, here we go. I got my blanket ready to go.
Okay, so I mean, we'll start by just saying that right now, as of this recording, and this is with the nod, the Hamster Watch, Waffle Wednesday, everything.
Hamster Watch! Yes. Waffle Wednesday.
Yeah, we love Hamster Watch, but I think there is a chance for more waffling. But right now, it seems like Ashley may actually have a chance to stay no matter what, even though Ashley has done everything within her power today to try to mess that up in truly catastrophic levels. There are legitimate reasons to still keep her. But as for how we got here and why all of a sudden Ashley is somebody who is valuable, let's just say this is a little bit complicated.
It is.
All right, first, let's get back into that time machine to last night.
Here we go. Beep, pop, 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 boop. It is last night.
Oh, right. So here we have Drew and Dee, and some other people are kind of funneling in and out, but they are starting to encourage Ashley, who had pretty much had done absolutely nothing as of last night, to fight for her game, saying, all right, you need to do something. You need to try to do whatever you can to stick around. And then they actively decided on their own. I mean, first and foremost, Dee, and we've been saying this, ultimately, whoever Dee wants to leave this week is probably what's going to happen, because I think a lot of players are understandably afraid of her.
Absolutely. And I mean, this is not unheard of in this house. It's like, well, whatever the HOH wants, we'll just get that person out, especially early on. Nobody really knows anybody that well.
Yeah. And so Dee kind of came to this realization. It's like, why are we wanting to keep Yash all of a sudden? Why are we even debating a lot of this? Ashley is not a threat. Like, I think her lack of campaigning cements that.
Yep.
Also, and we talked about this in yesterday's update, Rome was really leading a charge to try to keep Yash, and I think that light bulb went off for Dee as well. It's just like, why are we going to try to keep somebody who is clearly one of Rome's numbers at this point? Like, Rome is on the other side of the house, and we know Taylor kind of is as well, but Ashley, she's just a little bit of a free agent that's just like drifting off into Big Brother airspace here.
Absolutely. She's a free agent. She is somebody that either side could scoop up.
Yeah. And so D went to Kamu, and originally Kamu was out here campaigning for Yash to stick around and
Yeah.
doing that whole spiel. But then she made some arguments to him, and because Kamu sees Rome as a threat to his, I don't know what we want to call this, his like bro dominance within the Big Brother house.
Nobody understands.
Kamu's got an ego. He doesn't like bro. There's this whole bro, I don't know, a feud of sorts that's been brewing. But yeah,
Oh my God, he's not a threat to you.
why would Kamu want to keep somebody who is kind of sort of Rome's number two, though not
Right.
really, because Rome and Lyric are in a showmance, but this is all seeped into Kamu's head, and he is now going along with this idea. So they start to have a plan here. Kamu also has his light bulbs, and this may be the most surprising thing Kamu has said all season. He compared Ashley to Big Brother 16 Victoria. I'm surprised. Maybe I'm not giving Kamu enough credit. His Big Brother memory goes back that far.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little surprising, but I'm not mad about it.
I'm not mad. I just feel bad for Victoria, who's somewhere like a decade removed from being like one of the worst players ever. She's still getting dragged into all these statements.
I know she's catching strays, but she landed where she landed. What are you going to do about it? We can't go back and rewrite history.
Victoria, you could have done something, and that would have saved you in the Big Brother history books. But yeah, so these discussions are starting to happen. So we're already in this position where you've got sort of the Kamu and this alliance of sorts with the, Chuck's in there, Haley. So that's already starting to brew. And then we have Angela, who hasn't been a direct member of this group with Kamu and Haley and Chuck. But Angela does start to realize there are all these talks going on about, saving Yash, about Rome. Like Angela clocked that Rome may be leading this other group. I've got to do something about it. Second most surprising thing we're saying so far in this video.
Mhm.
Angela's like, you know what? Let me talk to Haley. And as we have said, Angela doesn't even like Haley.
But I appreciate that Angela is doing that, because that is something, I said this in yesterday's video, this is something you have to do. You have to talk to people that you wouldn't normally end up talking to, because down the road, that might be something that comes back around where, if Angela is talking to Haley weeks down the road and Haley's like, I've never spoken game with you before. Why would I listen to you now? The first couple weeks are really important that you do talk to everybody.
Angela is doing her best to put differences aside, trying to move forward. It's taking a toll on her. We'll get to that a little bit later.
It is.
She's doing this. She's had a conversation with Haley. And what this all eventually leads to last night is that we have the Kamu, Chuck, Haley group, and then the Angela D. Barrett, Devins, and Drew group. They sort of merge a little bit. They put their rings together, and this is not necessarily, I'm not sitting here saying like, this is a full alliance. It's going to run the entire game. But I think interests have collided, and they all decide they're going to get into lockstep last night and work to ensure that Ashley ends up staying in the game.
Hands in, Ashley, we gonna keep her.
Yeah, they do all this move. They're in agreement. And yeah, I love people like Devins and D. I'm not super excited about the idea of them working with Haley long term. But at the same time, this is a move that makes sense for them in the game at this point. So now comes the next step of this. We got to clue in Ashley. We want to know, we want to let her know if we're keeping you, we want you to appreciate us. We've done this for you. You know who are the people who are fighting to keep you around.
That's right. You're gonna maybe owe them a little bit.
Yeah, like that's something that's always very, very valuable. And at one point in all of this, Ashley, and this is very, very ironic, and we will return to this, says to Drew, she will say anything to stay in this game. And at the time she first said this, I did not believe her, because I was just like, Ashley, you've said nothing that makes people want to keep you so far this week.
It's actually interesting that she just said it. I will say anything to keep me in the game. You can think that.
Yes.
You can tell us, the live feeders that are watching you, but telling people in the game, I will say and do anything, whether I mean it or not, is kind of like, what? Why are you saying this to anybody, but especially Drew? Because Drew is definitely a wheeler and dealer in information. He is the little finger of this game.
Yes, he is. And Ashley, there is something called intrusive thoughts. I know sometimes they get to the front of your brain, but in the Big Brother house, tell them to go sit down. Tell them to go get a drink of water. Like, tell them to go and do something. This is going to get her in trouble.
Yeah.
And now, before we move on to exactly how it gets in trouble, we'll also deposit that at this point, Drew and Kama are talking about, okay, how are we going to get Melody in on this? Because we're potentially going to need someone else, depending on where the vote stands and what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
because this could lead into a tie. And we don't know
Okay.
if we want a tiebreaker situation, though D might end up doing something that benefits us, keyword there being might.
Yeah, it's always not great to be the first HOH and you have to be the tiebreaker.
Yeah, and it's something that nobody wants the HOH to do because then that kind of brings in all this other distrust.
Yes.
Okay, Ashley decides today, you know what I'm going to do? I think I'm just going to go and have some conversations. And yes, it's true that D and company advised her to maybe mix things up a little bit, like cause a little bit of confusion. That did happen, but not this, dot, dot, dot.
This is the thing is, it starts off sounding right
Yes.
where Ashley should be out there having some
Yes.
conversations.
But you don't do that. You don't go to Mallory and Lyric, and I cannot even believe what I'm about to say. You don't go to them and say, guess what, guys? I have the votes to stay. And then list off the people who are going to be voting for you to stay, basically being like, hey, guys, so I'm going to tell you that there's a split house.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you who's all working together, and they be working with me. Here they are.
I want to believe, in somewhere in the back of my head, we'll get to it. We'll try to explain everything because I think it's very easy to say Ashley's out of her mind. She doesn't have anything going. I think Ashley has a reason for what she's doing. I don't believe in the reason, but I think there's a reason.
I'm sure there is a reason. I'm sure she's not just want to go up and be very vague about things and be like, hey, I have the votes to stay. Sure you do, Ashley. Like, I'm sure Ashley's like, listen, I have the votes to stay, and this is why. These are the people that are voting for me. She's kind of in a rock and a hard place to be able to say, I have the votes without telling on who they are, but still being believable.
Yeah, this is the craziest thing about all of this is that, yeah, I think you do need precise information to be believable. But even she basically has done something where she has given the keys to a car to Lyric and to Mount be hey, here's some keys. Go and drive this car. You don't owe me anything. And I think they're like, do these keys work? Like, is this car safe to drive? Because they're still in this moment like, do we believe what she is saying? Because what she is saying is just so like
it's so much information. I agree. I'd be sitting back being like, is she like feeding me a bunch of hooey at this point? Because
Yes.
why would she be telling me this?
well, that's the thing. And actually, she could have stopped here, but she's like, no. I got to go tell Melody too. I got to go and tell other people.
Actually,
What I've done is not enough. I need to make up for my several days of boredom on the live feed, other than a brief time we were rooting for a Barrett showmance. And I'm going to go and spill all these beans. And then Melody, of course, goes and spills all the beans even further than to Rome.
right.
Okay, well, here is one of the many problems that is going to come from all of this is that Melody is starting to sit back and be like, what's going on here? I thought Drew and we had something special. We had a great game relationship. Why am I just now finding out that Drew may be doing some stuff that I'm not a part of?
I know. Listen, this is always the tough thing when you are someone like Drew, or we've seen this with like a Tyler, where you are very social, you are very
Yeah.
charismatic, and people really like you and they do trust you to tell you information or think that they're working with you. And of course, if someone's like, let's be in an alliance, you always say yes. But at the
Yes.
same time, you still try to keep things, as casual as you can while still making somebody feel safe. Like the balancing act of it that Drew is doing right
Yeah.
now is a lot.
And this is why I don't blame Drew at this point. Like, I'm not sitting back and being like, oh man, Drew, you really stepped in it, because I think 95% of all reasonable people would not be doing what Ashley is doing. And
Yep.
he banked on the idea that she was going to be reasonable and not spill all of these names. Like, Drew is a good enough player, I think, to do damage control on this, and he'll end up being okay.
I think he'll be okay.
But the funny thing about all this too, though, is because Mallory and Lyric are sitting there holding the keys to this car and not understanding what they've been given. They didn't go and tell anybody else this information yet either. So Melody is also like, I thought Mallory and Lyric were my ally. Why did they not tell me about what Ashley is doing either?
Mallory's really just kind of like out in the field on her own at this point.
I don't. This is all these people, and this is probably why the Devon's combo group is in an even more dominant spot. Is that technically we have this other side of the house, this Rome side of the house, if you will.
Yep.
I'm not willing to call them Faute yet. Faute is the worst case scenario, but there is some Faute warning signs going. You can't have another side of an alliance or another side of the house if that other side is being held together with duct tape and some guy who's looking up at the ceiling being like, there's not a leak in the roof and there's water just like dripping down onto the floor.
The problem is just they don't have somebody in that group that's really holding them together and sharing information in a way that everybody trusts. You have like Rome at the top of this, but everybody else is just doesn't know what to believe or not believe. They haven't come together in the way the other group has come together, where they have spent a lot of time together getting to know each other on a much deeper level. This other group still has mistrust. Is this information real? What am I doing with these car keys? I don't know what's happening here. Should I trust it? Shouldn't I? And that's where that group needs to come together, or they're going to end up like Faute.
Melody is in a fascinating position now. Like like my girl Melody's finally getting some great storylines moving into the end of this week, because she's in a challenging spot where if this information she now has heard is true, she really has to sit back and be like, okay, depending on what the tiebreakers are, I might just have to go ahead and keep Ashley, because what are my other choices? Yes, I can go and vote with this other side and maybe cement a little bit more trust with them, but then I lose trust with the likes of Drew and Barrett. Like, they've come to her and been like, we're swing votes this week, and had that sort of argument with her. So like, she really has to figure out, like, who do I want to side with? And yeah, it's less entertaining TV if there's not a tie vote and it's like the whole all the house votes together, but it benefits somebody like Melody if that is the case, because she needs to put the attention on someone else from the other side in case the D and Devon's group wins the head of household again.
That's the thing. Listen, Melody, this is going to be the most boring advice, but if I was playing the game and I had this information, I'm just going to that other group and being like, I have this information. I want to be part of it.
Yeah.
And that's what I would do, and be like, how do I get to be part of this? Because I have all this information. I'm not willing to go and spill this information to anybody else, but I definitely want to be part of it. I know I'm going to be at the bottom of it, but give me some time to be part of your group. And then once she is part of that group, she can then start working on things.
I think that it's 100% the right move, because I look at Big Brother history and that, sometimes we have 4 to 6 person alliances that stick together for a really long time. But we're talking about an 8-person block that's not even necessarily like a full alliance. They're not going to all stay together until the end of this game.
No, you're going to have people that are going to splinter off into smaller parts of that. And I think Melody's best shot at staying in this game much longer is to just go up and be like, I know about your group. I want in on your group, or I'm telling everybody in the house, but not quite that way.
Yes, telling everybody in the house. I mean, it's worked out for us. I mean, Ashley, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, now we get to the emotional reactions to all of this, because Drew and Barrett are not happy, to say the least, that they had all this figured out. Now Drew is having to like deal with quicksand. It's kind of sinking him in the game. He's talking to Barrett being like, Ashley sucks. I want to get rid of her now.
Listen, I love Drew. I've said this preseason. He's my guy. I vibe with Drew. I really want to see him do well, but I didn't want him to have an easy ride. I didn't want him to just, hook up with the vets and he's just protect him because he's so charismatic and he is able to talk to a lot of people. His social game's really strong. He's got tons of information. I didn't need him to just like bulldoze through this game without any conflict. I want to
Mhm.
know if he's going to end up winning the game or going really far. I want to know that he can get out of these types of situations.
Yeah, and this is a great test for him really early. Like, I think he's capable of it, and I want more tests on everybody. Like, I'm pulling for Melody, but even like Devins, who I love and has played a really good game so far. Like, I do want the Rome side to win this next set of household because the best thing about a split house is that you want to go back and forth and have like constant conflict. I mean, yeah, sometimes you get Faute once again where they get rid of their own side of their house on their HOH, but this is the way Big Brother is fun.
It is, as long as they're not targeting Drew.
I believe you're going to be okay, Drew, at least for now. Okay, we're going to spell out the voting scenarios here because this is a little bit confusing. We want to try to make it as simple as possible, especially when it comes to D, who has the tiebreaker vote.
Yes.
Okay, so here is side one. You have Barrett, Drew, Devins, Angela, Chuck, Camu, Haley. Now, if Ashley wins the blockbuster, Ashley will be a part of this group. And if they all still vote together and nothing else happens between tonight and tomorrow, that's 8 votes. D's vote does not matter anymore. Ashley, and that will make the situation of if it is Yash versus Taylor a little bit clearer. Taylor's not really doing much of anything, but I think Yash is going to be gone from the game because they don't want Rome to have anybody who's presumably that close of an ally anymore.
And that's the right choice. You know, we've got Taylor who isn't really doing anything, so she's not really that much of a threat in the game. And yeah, you don't want Rome to have numbers.
Yeah, so in the event that it is Yash versus Ashley, Ashley's going to be okay, most likely. Yash is going to be going. I know D has told Yash she would break a tie in his favor, but she'd be lying about that. Yash is going to be the first person taken out.
Yeah.
All right. Now, here is where we get to the situation where it is Taylor versus Ashley. And this is where it gets trickier because D has promised Taylor that if there is a tie, she would vote in order to save Taylor. Now, I know D said something similar to Yash and she was willing to break that, but she does not seem willing to break this with Taylor. It seems like she does actually want to keep her word to Taylor, even if that's not what she wants for the week, that she would do this and she would keep Taylor in this scenario. So what I think D wants, and this takes us all the way back in that time machine to when these discussions happened last night, I think D is just trying to find a way to get some other sort of number on board, whether it was Ashley recruiting somebody, Drew recruiting somebody. I don't think D wanted Ashley to go about it this way, but I think she wanted there to be a big voting block so that she did not have to be up there in a tiebreaker. Taylor could leave the game versus Ashley and it would not be considered her fault.
Absolutely.
Now, then this gets us to why did Ashley do this? And this is where putting on, I want to try to put on a tinfoil hat, but I think we may be out of stock for tinfoil for this guy.
Yeah, I feel so.
So really, the only explanation I can think of is that Ashley felt like, okay, if I go to these people, I give them this information, maybe they will trust me a little bit more, that here I am presenting them information that these other people, they're not giving them this. I'm giving them this. Therefore, I'm more valuable than them.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like maybe Ashley's okay to be saved by them this week, but she doesn't maybe want to work with them long term. It's like, okay, if I give this information to the other side, I can build up some trust with them. And then depending on whoever is HOH next week, I could be on either side of that.
That's where, if we want to try to give Ashley some credit, and yes,
I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt here.
We'd be trying
trying
really, really hard here. But if we're going to do this, I think it would make sense for Ashley to then think, all right, these people are all coming to me, telling me that I'm safe. I was not a part of all of these conversations from the get-go. Right. So like, clearly I'm not at the center of all of this. I have to try to find a way to survive long term. And the only way I can do this is trying to be a little bit proactive and really, really hope that they will want to keep me regardless, because at the very least, I'm not as tight with Rome. And that seems to be the only thing that is keeping people from like Drew and Barrett from being like, let's just go ahead and get her out.
Listen, if Ashley had stayed And if she stays, this information would have been great to be able to share with the other side of the house after all of this, not necessarily before, because she is not safe yet, right?
Yes.
But this could be information, like you were saying, if she's sitting back being like, okay, D has put me on the block. Now D's whole group is like, yeah, we're all here. We're going to save you. And me as Asher, I'm like, okay, you've put me on the block. You've told me who your alliance is.
Yes.
Cool. If you guys are going to save me, that's great or whatever. But I am going to parlez-vous all this information to somebody else next week, as long as none of your group is the HOH, so that we can deal with some of you. That's where I'm kind of like, are you playing it too fast and loose too early? And that's where I have to say, yes, you just wait it out. Let them save you. Awesome. Great. Thanks for the save. Thanks for the information. I'll see you next week.
Okay, now let's just walk over to Angela Corner now, because I think it's impossible to understand Ashley any more than what we currently are. So Angela, she is breaking down a little bit. We saw her right before we went on here to record. Like, she was getting really, really emotional by herself. Like, I think she's struggling to hold everything in, because there is that whole Haley perspective on things, having to work with her. She apologized to Barrett and Dee last night because she realizes she's getting too paranoid about Drew, and she needs to sort of calm some of that down. I don't think it's all fully calm, but I think she's trying to convince herself that it's okay. But if we all know this, if you hold on to feelings too long and you don't have a way to express them, like, it can cause your mind to just sort of start to fall apart.
Angela needs to just sit down with Drew and tell him how she's feeling about all of this, so that they can find a way to find some footing together. Because I feel like if Drew really knew how paranoid she was getting, he would put the work in to make sure that she felt comfortable.
Angela has also now started to play nice with Jason. This is the part of Angela I really enjoy over the past 24 hours. She knows Jason's been talking behind her back, but she is now consoling him, being nice to him, buttering him up, talking about like how much she trusts him. Like, this is actually kind of delicious, because if Angela's ever HOH and she puts Jason on the block, it's going to be really funny. And I just want to laugh watching this show a lot of the time.
It's going to be funny as long as it's not during jury. If Jason's going to jury and she's sending him out looking like a clown, that's not helpful to get that vote.
It's not.
Listen, I know we're not at the jury part of it yet, but you never know out of this group who is going to make it to jury. And the things you do now carry with you for the whole game to get to jury, of whether you are getting that vote or not.
I think I may be somehow even more out on Jason as a player than I've been the past couple of days. And I liked him so much going into this, but there was the whole talking smack about all the returning people and never expecting it to get back to them. But then he starts cooling off. I think he starts to realize, you know what? Maybe saying all of this about Angela this early was a mistake. I'm going to pivot. I'm now going to start going around being like, my nominees, it would be Rome, it would be Chuck, and it would be Well, why are you saying people Rome? Rome is one of the people who theoretically you could be working with, Jason.
Just, Jason, stop talking. You're not the HOH right now. Nobody needs this information. You're so close to Thursday when we're going to have a new HOH. It may not be you. So why not just keep this to yourself at this point? This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, Jason has now just lost trust from his own side of the house. Like, the people who could have been there for him, I don't necessarily think that they're gonna be targeting him right away above some other people, but it's just like, you have not put yourself in a good position. Like, maybe a little bit with Lala, maybe a little bit with but not really with anybody else.
I could see Jason going up over and over and over again if he's not winning any safety. I do.
The last thing we will say in this update, a little bit of a D in Barrett, whatever we want to call this, flirtmance, cuddlemance. Like, Haley has started to comment that they're spending a lot of time together. They're getting all cuddly.
They are.
And so they are starting to be like, all right, we need to back off on this a little bit. We need to be a little less public. And I was starting to honestly get a little bit annoyed with Barrett. That's like, you're a super fan, you should know better than doing all this stuff publicly. Like, that is just going to make a target on you for no reason at all.
Absolutely. Barrett is a fan of reality TV. He knows that showmances always get themselves into some sort of a trouble. They make it a little bit further, but they very rarely are at the end together anyways. And then you've got Dee, who has played Survivor multiple times. She has won. She also knows that when you look like you're too close to somebody, you end up getting targeted, because that's always like, oh, well, however Dee is voting, Barrett's voting, and vice versa. This is always going to be 2 votes right away. Like, I don't know why they didn't pull this back.
The best thing they can do right now, just find somebody to hide behind for the next 24 hours. Just like lower the target in case the other side ends up winning head of household.
Just stop spending so much time together right now. Start spending time with other people and just like let it dissipate a little bit. People will start to move away from it if you guys just spend less time together.
All right. Well, that is the end of our day 9 edition of Big Brother 28 Live Feed Spoilers. Let us know, why do you think Ashley did this today? Do you still think she is going to be safe, like once calmer heads fully prevail? Let us know. And yeah, be sure to join our YouTube memberships for weekly Big Brother exclusive videos there. Our one on this past head of household competition being really unfair is online. A new one is coming on Friday, and we will see you here next time.